here on YouTube. Looks like we're live on Facebook. And a new thing, we're live on Substack. I started a Substack a few months ago. So I've been releasing some excerpts from some of my lessons from my website on Substack, and it's been pretty cool. I like the platform so far. So this is my first time on that, so I'm just seeing this. It says I am live, so hello, Wagonette, hello. So, but I don't really see like a dashboard where I am actually supposed to be, or anything like that. So I'm just going to trust that that is good. There we go. All right, I think we're good. I see the live chat. All right, so hello, welcome to our guitar and improvisation live stream, where I'd love to take your questions, get to know folks better if you've been on the channel, following the channel before. Welcome, Jeffrey. I don't know if you got the notification, but yeah, we're at 3 o'clock today. So I just had a gig this morning, so I had to push it back a little bit. So it'll probably be 3 for the rest of the month. But all right, so we got a question here. Awesome. Let me just make sure I'm clear on what you're asking me about. Yeah, so I absolutely can talk about audiation. I mean, I'm just doing a quick Google search here. So let's just define it here. So according to Google, audiation is the ability to hear and comprehend music internally in your mind, even when no physical sound is present, acting as the musical equivalent of thinking language, and crucial for musicianship. Absolutely. I'll give you a little kind of behind the scenes of some of my process. I think is a pretty good example. Oh, Jeffrey got the notification. Awesome. Glad to hear it. So oftentimes when I do these melody videos that I release on Saturday mornings, oftentimes I do a little, as I'm just about to doze off, really. I do a little mental rehearsal of the performance that I plan to do. Usually it's like Friday morning or something. This one today, this past week I did Thursday, but anyway, that's not really the point. So yeah, I'm visualizing the instrument. I'm visualizing where my fingers end up, what fingers I use, and the sounds. So that's great. That is something that's really awesome to do, and really can strengthen your sense of the instrument, and also just as an exercise of thinking about the instrument and trying to visualize it as best you can. You get insights into your gaps and your things that need to be kind of filled in. So then you can always make a mental note of it or write it down, and next time you're actually at your instrument, say, I really got to work that out, whatever it happens to be. So, and its role in improv. Yeah. So I love to, sit anytime I'm in a situation where I'm just don't have any stimulation at all. waiting or whatever it happens to be. Of course, obviously, like most folks, I check out the phone sometimes, but I do like to allot some time to just be kind of bored or just be kind of at rest or whatever, and so I find myself usually just gravitating towards that exercise of actually just improvising internally, some things on the instrument. So let me just read your statement here. I've been on a journey to learn how to improvise for a long time. Still a very beginner. Yeah, improvisation. Yeah, like you're, saying, it has a lot to do with what we imagine, what we create. It's a spontaneous composition, kind of thing. So for example, sometimes I write out etudes, and so they're like composed solos basically. And so that's something you can do too. I always find like that to be pretty helpful and concrete to write a composed solo, and then you really have time to take it in and see what it's all about. Roadmap and stuck with a lot of noodling. I'm actually working right now on a roadmap for on my website, but it's just in the beginning phases. But I do have a list and a progression of things. So keep an eye out. I might release that as a course as well. But yeah, thing is, even if you're away from your instrument or on your instrument, I would recommend to just have a spirit of trying things and making notes on what works and what doesn't work, and try to just kind of be in the nature of sound. I think a lot of folks talk about arpeggios, obviously in scales and those things. And I think it's important to consider what your perspective is when you're learning all of that. So, like, for example, if you play like through maybe the changes of, maybe I'll just play a segment of All the Things You Are. Just a little segment there. So I'm playing arpeggios, but that's not, I think, really. I think that's a good skill to learn and work at. But as you get deeper into the instrument and the tunes and stuff, and I would encourage you to start this right now if you haven't already, is to think of the arpeggio spots as more consonances on the current sound, and how you can relate to those. So you don't actually have to play those notes. You can play and work with notes in between. So those tend to be the scales and things. So if I play on all the things you are again, I might play a little bit more like. And that seems kind of contrived because I'm deliberately thinking about it. But just as an example of treating the tones from the arpeggio of the changes, the exact changes. There are other things you can do with arpeggios too that can make you sound a little outside, or make it sound a little more colorful or something. But yeah, that's kind of a perspective on that. Yeah, so I'll do a little playing here in a minute on a tune, our Spanish love song, which I'm actually not that I don't have that really internalized, but I play along with it because we've been studying it on the website, fredprince.com. One question here: can you describe what's going on in your brain when soloing? Well, I can tell you some things that I'm trying to prevent, and things that I'm trying to be aware of and observe. So I always try to avoid anything that would make me feel self-conscious about what I'm doing. So you want to avoid thinking in general, really, pretty much, and especially those thoughts that might be like, oh, what does the bass player think about what I'm playing, or what does the drummer think of my time, or it's like stuff like that, or what does the audience think about that flat 13 that I played on that note, or do they even care? I don't know. But it's more like observing and contours of lines, and like I like to tell folks, music is a lot of more a process of internalizing fundamentals and things, and so you don't really want to think about what you're doing, but you do want to have an intention. So you can think a little bit about motives, or just short ideas, or contours. If I released a video of me improvising on what is the tune? Solar, last week, and I kind of found myself liking the sound and liking that line. So you can kind of consider, so I did a bunch of takes, and kind of consider, like, I really kind of like that, and that opening. So can I use maybe some similar intervals, as I play through, or something like that. So, but just very, very general, it's the kind of stream of consciousness. So, all right, I'm gonna do a little playing on this tune, our Spanish love song, by Charlie Hayden. Do a little improv on this. right, so playing a little bit on the changes. Now, I really do prefer to improvise when I do, know the changes or have them sort of internalized. But another thing, which I think kind of connects to some of our chatting earlier, is that there are certain patterns that emerge in most tunes. So that's another thing, is really just try to get a hold of some of those harmonic tendencies and harmonic patterns. You've probably heard a lot about the 2/5 if you haven't explored that a lot already. But it's a really important thing to be able to work with a 2/5 or a 5/1, and those things just tend to come up again and again, and really just have a little bit of an idea about just some theory, kind of basics, and it's like learning your the chord scales and the modes and things, and it's not really a jazz thing even. It's just a musicianship thing. I've listened to a lot of different guitarists from different genres, and I remember watching one thing of, I think, Steve Vai, and he's just whipping through these modes of various types of scales and talking about them. And he knows it, so whether you're a country guitarist or rock guitarist or whatever, it's we're all just working with music and sound, and harmony in a moment, and then the sort of the stream of how harmony moves. So, for example, harmony tends to move downward. But before I get into that, I want to remind everybody to please like and subscribe if you're watching this and you're enjoying it. I've got melody videos coming out once per week. I've got a new series on just kind of like current topics and question and answer. So if you have questions, and maybe I'll elaborate on them there, but you can always ask them here. So like and subscribe. Like I said, you can follow me on Facebook and now on Substack. See how it's going over there. I do have a few viewers there on Substack, so welcome. I'm thinking I probably have a few viewers on YouTube too, but I don't see how I can see that. Facebook is sometimes a little bewildering to me, how it all the settings and the pages. But anyhow, so harmony tends to kind of move in a from higher to lower direction. You've probably heard of the circle of fifths, and even within a key center, that is also the case. So let's say all the things you are again. You have just gonna take a segment of it. What's going on there with the so I'm doing a lot of what are called shell voicings there. So listen to this part of it, the middle two strings. Right, you can even see it visually that my hand is just going down in that direction. And bass notes tend to go downward, but they kind of tend to skip around. Right. So there are a lot of things in music that are just coming up again and again and again. So, like I said, most of the time when I'm on here or when I play somewhere, typically I'm not looking at changes. But today I am looking at our Spanish love song because I don't really know this song. But not really being that familiar with it, even if I don't have the sheet music, I could kind of hear those little tendencies and where things are, tending to go. It wants to go, well, it's on the tonic minor, and then it kind of sits on that. So when you have, F minor and then G minor 7, those are like kind of just movements. Almost just think of that as just F minor. It's just that there's a little tension release in the chord progression, and then when you hear that, it's going to the minor 4 chord and all this. So if you really get good at 2 5s and 5 1s, you've got a very large percentage probably of things to work with on improvising on a lot of tunes. All right, so maybe I'll noodle a little bit on all the things you are. Maybe I shouldn't say noodling. Noodling has kind of gotten a bad rap, but I'll do a little playing on all the things you are here, just solo. But I do intend to get some backing tracks on that tune and others. Right. So yeah, a little noodling there, or playing on the changes to all the things you are. So that's a great tune to know and be aware of, and it just moves into some different key centers and things. So be sure to check that one out. So last week I got a message or a chat on about a self-taught legend guitar, and I had no idea what that was about, but I did see some things on my feed, and I think one of the things I saw was Jason Marsalis. And then I later checked him out and what he had to say about it. He made some points about the individual versus kind of the group, and I have and outside of music circles, I think there is kind of a tendency, for folks to want to focus on the the individual and the, becoming famous or something like that. So for a while there, I checked out the footage, and I really wasn't sure if he wasn't doing a kind of trolling sort of thing to maybe get attention. That seems to be kind of the thing, on YouTube is, say something shocking or something that's obviously not true or something that seems a little misleading, and then, to get folks to click on something. But then I dug a little deeper, and I think other people dug a little deeper, which just kind of ended up on my, algorithmic feed. But, it sounds like he's, really intense about music, and to be passionate and intense about music is good, but you want to put that energy into a positive light. But it sounded like he had some real struggles, even of the recent past and stuff. So I think it was genuine in what he was doing. So, but yeah, I thought I'd give just kind of my perspective on that this past week, and I was planning to start a series on just talking about music and kind of current events. So I did that. I think the thumbnails is Jam Session 101. So it does give some, I think, long-lasting advice on visiting a jam session, some things to expect, and so I hope folks enjoyed that. But I have been, watching different folks. I've been watching this. I'm sure probably a lot of folks who watch me have watched some of the bigger channels, and some of the ones that have gotten big of late, like Sore Hands. What's his name? Andy Edwards. And so there does seem to be this kind of like, and they've both, I think, talked about this a bit. This self-taught discussion. And I kind of see both sides of this argument as being somewhat valid. So I thought I'd give my thoughts this week on the self-taught phenomenon, and so I believe I'll discuss that a little bit on my Wednesday release. This is my new midweek release. I think guidance is really important. And I've received a good and decent amount of guidance. And I don't think I would be where I am, not making any claims or anything, but, as far as like, playing this gig this morning, how to behave at the gig, how to, playing wise too, just how, what to do, especially I've had an opportunity to play with musicians that were older than me, more experienced, perhaps better. And so, they're like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Or, don't play such and such on a, flat 5, minor 7 flat 5 chord, or, just different, different things. So, yeah, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about the whole self-taught phenomenon. But, in a sense, when you sit and you spend the vast majority of your development on an instrument on your own, I mean, in a sense, you are self-taught, right? It's just that someone's saying, don't go there. You check in with that person, your teacher, and they're like, you're doing this, you're doing this, you should be doing this, so you get guidance, and that's important. But I understand why someone would say, I'm such and such, I'm self-taught, because that brings up a really good point, I think, for folks who are learning, like on the channel or on YouTube. The information is really there and available, but you need some guidance on how do you get that internalized. What are some ways, what are some exercises I can do, and now with Sound Slice, like on my website, it's really cool. I can make exercises for folks. They can loop sections. They can do obviously get some insights into some things with some videos that I'm making and stuff, and I can organize information into a way that's like kind of digestible, which I do through some embeds, and PDF downloads. But we all have to do it for ourselves, and learn how to operate, and learn how to work through the changes. So everybody has to spend that time just doing it, So anyway, I plan to compile some ideas and talk about that this Wednesday. So be sure to check that out, folks. All right, well, I'm gonna hang out here for another about 10 minutes or so. Then I'm gonna head off, but it's been really nice hanging with you folks. Really good to see you. I will do another improv on our Spanish love song here. All right, folks, so more of this kind of thing is going to be mixed in with the live streams. Just working at kind of standardizing my my mix and my backing tracks and stuff like that. So I'm kind of getting there, I think, and so hopefully the mix here today was okay. But it's been kind of a long journey, learning how to just record and mix, and then attempting to do that live. That's like that's a whole other thing. So hopefully the balance is okay. And over time, I think the drums have been kind of the most difficult thing to integrate into the backing tracks, but I think we're kind of getting there. Also, check out our merch store if you'd like to support the channel. I'd really appreciate it. We've got some mugs and things, and some PDFs and stuff like that. So thanks, Jeffrey. I'm glad to hear it. Last week I really rushed to get on, but this time I gave myself a little more time, which is kind of, I think, necessary. So maybe what I'll do is I'll line up maybe 3 tunes to play live and do some improv on. So I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Okay, improvising there a little bit on Autumn Leaves. Autumn Leaves. So another great tune. And that's what, another thing to think about is, just playing on various tunes, maybe play them in different keys. All good exercise for us to do. I've been checking out Pat Metheny's solo on our Spanish love song. Put together a sound slice on the website on that. It's really cool to hear him play on this tune. One thing, if you get a chance to check him out, Beyond the Missouri Skies, I believe is the name of the album. So some things maybe keep your ear out for, his treatment of time, and you can hear him at times working with maybe a triplet subdivision, and then maybe even 8ths or 16th subdivision at times. You can hear him, what's called back phrasing, or just playing a little bit, maybe behind or ahead, and maybe floating at moments, but all having this nice integrity of of a line, and it's all very intentional and great, and it's also something to consider too, when you're playing, is to have enough restraint, which I'm noticing in his solo, where you can play what you hear within a maybe a certain register for a moment, and not necessarily try to have to just kind of blow through the changes. So but having the awareness of the changes there. So a lot of nice takeaways on that solo. So check it out if you get a chance. Our Spanish love song, and I did do a melody video on that a few weeks ago. But I was thinking maybe perhaps as part of my new Wednesday release, to maybe do a little improv on this tune, or maybe perhaps play an excerpt of his solo. But we'll see. I haven't really decided what tune to focus on there, but I want to include some sort of improvisation or some sort of recording or something like that. So I need to get these strings lifted up a little bit, because I'm getting some, I don't know if it's just the changing weather, but yeah, that one is kind of sitting on the fret up here. So I'm gonna find my truss rod adjuster. But I'm also considering doing a chord melody on Always and Forever, possibly this week. We'll see. I've been kind of coming up with some ideas on it. Here's some kind of cool. I'm just kind of recalling the beginning, but so we've got this. Nope, not doing that right. This voicing here includes this interval of a half step, so it's kind of dissonant, but it can be a pretty kind of dissonance. So you might try this chord out. So I've got string. It's a tough one though. String 2, fret 1, string 3, fret 4, and string 4, fret 5. So you can try this out as your challenge of the day or the week. I'm not sure if I'll incorporate that into the arrangement or not. But all right, folks, thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you enjoyed this live stream. Good to see you here, Jeffrey, as always. Wagonette, thanks for dropping in too, and I hope that this was a good experience for you. And we are on Substack for the first time. Pretty cool. Head over there and subscribe to me on Substack if you are on that platform. Because I am releasing some little excerpts from the lessons that I'm putting out on my website fretprints.com. So check that out. You can also join my email newsletter. But Substack kind of has its own little email thing over there. So Jeffrey asked, what chord was that? So this is an A minor 9. So it's got the if I just name it from low to high, let's say it's got A on string 5 open, then we got G, that's the flat 7, and then the 9 is on string 3 fret 4, and then the 3rd is on string 2 fret 1. It's really pretty. What you might try to do if you find that tough, I'm finding that tough, so what you can do is, let's see if we've got a capo anywhere. Just to get some enjoyment out of it, perhaps you can maybe put the capo up on 5 or something like that, and then play. It's a lot more comfortable right here. So then we would have a D minor 9. So that's pretty cool. Because actually you can get to. Not even seeing the right notes, but. You can play, some longer stretches, with the capo there. So very nice chord. I agree. So you're most welcome. All right, folks, I'm going to head out. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm here typically on Sundays. Got to be a little bit flexible because I've got things here and there. But, thanks for attending. I appreciate it. We'll see you all in the next one.